Chads, how are we mewing today? Good to see you guys. I just want to talk about something that's kind of been in my thought, kind of a shower thought, but I thought I'd bring it up to you guys, see what you guys thought. That is, what about guard pulling in MMA? Okay, MMA, we see jiu-jitsu guys, no offense, some of them don't have the best takedowns, okay? One that comes to mind is Kron Gracie in his last bout. Couldn't really get a takedown going, okay? And I was thinking, what if he was able to pull guard, okay? What usually happens in MMA bouts when the jiu-jitsu guy pulls guard is the ref stands him up, okay? The guy sits to his butt, and the guy who's on his feet just does not engage. And therefore, this ends in a stalemate, and they have the guy come to his feet, and then they start on the feet again. And I was wondering, this brings me back to kind of like the beginning days of MMA and, where there was minimal referee interference. And I'm not saying we should go back to that, but, we didn't really see guard pulling back then because not a lot of guys knew takedowns. But now we got wrestlers, Division I wrestlers in there, and you're not taking those guys down, okay? And so these jiu-jitsu guys, in order to get it to the ground, maybe try to hit some weird Imanari roll or try to pull guard, but are unsuccessful because the wrestlers sprawl and back away. And so, I was wondering, I'm thankful for the rules and the gloves and the no groin strikes and no fish hooks. But, I was wondering, what if there was a rule where, you had to engage? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's minimal referee interference. Like, if a guy sat, he could sit if he wanted to. And this one made me wonder, it might be boring, but what would you do if a guy sat? You know what I'm saying? Obviously what comes to mind. And another thing, too, if a guy can sit, then I would say soccer kicks on a grounded opponent or knees on a grounded opponent could be legal. And because, what are you going to do? You can't, punch him from there. And so, obviously, if a guy pulls guard and just sits there upright in a seated position, I feel like he'll get just mauled, right? Get punched and kicked and get knocked out. Obviously, that would happen. But what would happen if a guy pulled and then, laid on his back, okay? Because we kind of see brief moments of this in the UFC before they stand him up. And, a guy can, chill on his back and, be pretty, safe. The guy on his feet, obviously it looks really goofy and doesn't look very Chadly when the guy's on his back, but not a lot that the top man could do because he just stands off to the side and kicks the guy in the butt. That's all that really happens. And so if a guy just stands out there and kicks him in the butt, he'll get frustrated and engage at some point, okay? And then this is when the jiu-jitsu guy can get into his jiu-jitsu offense, right? And it just makes me wonder what would happen, and it kind of makes me wonder, maybe we should go back to the old school rules, you know what I'm saying? No rounds, just go until there's a tap or a knockout, you know what I'm saying? That would be pretty sick. I think that would be the ultimate test of the mixed martial arts, okay? The rounds, you can game it a little bit, you can be smart, you can be strategic. The standing the opponents up can be smart and strategic, and it's just a different sport now than what it was back in the day. Back in the day when, they had Vale Tudo matches, there were no time limits, no gloves, and, that's another thing to keep in mind, Chads. No gloves on. You got to be precise with your strikes, okay? If you throw an errant, jab, an errant right hand, and you land it on the hard part of somebody's head, then that could freaking break your freaking hand and hurt like a mother trucker, okay? And so, I don't know, Chads. What do you guys think? I take the Joe Rogan's talked about taking the cage out and just on a basketball floor too, just something like Coliseum, you know what I'm saying? Just freaking gladiators out there. No gloves, no shin pads, just two guys with their thoughts, screaming fans, and they just get out there and get after it, okay? Obviously this would have a lot longer fights, if we got two Chads out there not wanting to quit, not wanting to give up. We got a Tony Ferguson and freaking I don't know who, some David Goggins out there. They're gonna go for 24 hours in a day. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be a freaking wild, crazy fight. And so, but it's not entertaining, and I get it. You got to make entertaining fights. You got to make stuff that sells, and laying on your back does not sell. I'll tell you what. Depends what industry you're in, but in the fighting industry, laying on your back does not sell you any tickets. Okay, and so I get it, but it's just a question that I ponder from time to time is just like, what would you do if a guy's laying flat on his back and there's no referee to stand him up? You know what I'm saying? Would you just like jump on the guy? Like, what if you miss it and like then he's like ripping your Achilles off? You know what I'm saying? Ripping your freaking ACL, tearing your PCL, tearing your MCL. I don't even know if an MCL is a thing. You know what I'm saying? But you're just getting your knee ripped to shreds. You know what I'm saying? And it just baffles me. It just makes me freaking wonder what would happen. What do you guys think would happen? Let me know down below. Let me know your thoughts, and let's talk about it. Look forward to hearing from you, chads.